This is the Judgment card, the numerical 20, 0 representing the vision, and then 2 representing the moon, which is the lunarian quality that brings into fruition the polarities of black and white. So here we have this angelic-like figure up above that has blonde hair representing purity. And what it's trying to do, it's trying to purify a vision alchemically, which is another angelic figure represented in the Temperance card. It's trying to temper the vision of humanity. So here we have the angelic quality that is in color. Humanity is black and white, which is representing mankind, the masculine, feminine, that is split apart, needing to come together and infuse each other's separateness to create life and offspring. So here, this angelic figure is holding a trumpet, raising the dead. These human figures, objects, are being raised out of coffins because of the noise of wisdom and truth that is being subconsciously sung out into the airways. That is basically music to ears. So here we have a masculine figure on the left side of this card, right here. And he is holding his neck up, showcasing the Adam's apple as power. And then we have this feminine quality, which is on the right side of the card. And she is reaching out to Adam in need of his service in order to carry out the feminine quality's mission into creating humanity and providing offspring in order to regenerate and make sense out of a story of how procreation is needed, conceptualized, to create a civilization, which is just a story of humanity. So here we have the red cross on the white square, which represents the bloodline of these delusional depictions of men and women or humans. That is an inbred vision mix and match description that starts off from a chain of projections that bring into fruition diversity, black and white to color. So that is how we get diversity of culture in regards to the description of people, considering their persona, their image, and their gender, which is ambiguous because, again, we don't see any of the gender. That's why their backs are facing the card, and the feminine figure is sideways, so you can't see its gender because gender is ambiguous. Because man, the masculine, and woman, the feminine, one can't come before the other because they're both created from a void, which is basically up above, which is the crown, third eye, conscious mind of visualizing the conception of a world that is placing the spotlight on the black and polarity of the masculine and feminine in order to project humanity, civilization, to create further services of illusion as a stage to act upon, which is why there is a body of water symbolically representing a sea or ocean to sail, which is a ship being plunged out into the ocean like a reef in order for the illusion of water, which is why the sky is blue here, and clouds, to create a world dynamic for these objects to act. So again, we have the wings that spawn outward, representing the ability to travel from scene to scene and create. So the eyes can be open or closed, representing the void, which is invisible, and the blindness, because the visualization takes place without sight. This is all just conscious thought. And then we have the gray clouds, which covers and separates the light color spectrum from the black and white to be secretive and kept in the dark, because the masculine and feminine polarity is black and white and can only be managed and diversified by the angelic quality of the color spectrum that is hidden and separated by the gray shades. So this is the Judgment card, and it is basically used in the tarot to decipher life and death and understand the separation of black and white and the rainbow color spectrum that is the illuminary principle that diversifies imagery. And then you can also see the other figures in the background that are basically putting their hands up, because there is a mountain which looks like a glacier on top, which is frozen in time, being mirrored back and forth as some sort of evolutionary process of the installment of the concept of man, which is basically all the imaginary evolutions of man, starting from the Ice Age, being brought into thought out and realized from the conception of color. So taking the black and white, old, ancient, Stone Age, bringing it forward to shed light on by an angelic quality, which is a rainbow color spectrum of light separated by the gray, and allowing to raise the dead, which is basically in a coffin underground, and it's conjuring up the idea of life in order to create. So this is the Judgment card. Blessed be.